Alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostle and elder bishop of Great Millstone, who were well and teaching us the truth, 100% securely. And I'd like to give a salutation to the men out there on the highways and byways pushing the truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And I'd like to give a salutation to the Akim and Aqua who are listening and studying to show thyself approved. Alright, so this is a very quick lesson. Alright, this is yet another unrighteous decree by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil. And in the case of this unrighteous decree that they brought forth right here in Oklahoma, is the Esau, Edom is trying to idolize themselves above Yahawashi. You know, as it says in the scriptures, Isaiah the 14th chapter, where it says, Esau said, I would be like the Most High. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahawashi. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. Because Isaiah chapter 14, we'll come back to this Isaiah 10, because, you know, that was an unrighteous decree. We thought of Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12, and it said, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Okay, and when you look up that word Lucifer, it means light bearer, which is ultimately goes to the Illuminati, which is the upper echelon of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, which is the tribe of Amalek, all right? And so when it said, how art thou fallen from heaven, they're coming from a very high place of riches, and basically their narrative is being brought down, so they're being cast down, okay? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nation? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahawashi. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Okay? And so this is them trying to exalt themselves and trying to idolize themselves in the very article. So this is another unrighteous decree. As you can see, the title, it says Oklahoma GOP bill will punish public college without statutes of Charlie Boy. All right? And you see the title right there. So they passed a bill stating that they want to set up a statue in every college university here in Oklahoma. Okay, so we'll read this article. It says Republican lawmakers in Oklahoma introduced legislation that will require public college to erect statue of MAGA influencer Charlie Boy or face fines. You see that? And so this is nothing new. So if you can't see that America, aka Babylon the Great, is modern day Babylon, right? If you can't see that, then you're just blinded, right? The Lord Yahawashi gave you over to that strong delusion, okay? Because this most recent act right here by this devil pretty much parallel what King Nebuchadnezzar have done back in his time, okay? So let's read on. You know, we're gonna read those scriptures, and you know, I'm gonna finish reading this article, and we'll get into the scriptures, okay? And it says GOP state Senate Shane Jett and Dana Perito, both Republicans, sponsored a bill instructing college to create a Charlie Boy Memorial Plaza. The schools would also have to include signage describing Kurt as a modern civil rights leader, vocal Christian martyr for the truth and faith, and free speech advocate, according to Heartland Signal. Let me get past all these ads. All right, and then it says, square or plaza plan shall include a statue of Charlie Boy sitting on a table with an empty seat across from him, or a statue of Charlie Boy and his wife standing and holding their children in their arm as a central element of the square or plaza design, the bill state. And it says private institution in Oklahoma would be able to apply for grant fund to establish a similar memorial to Charlie Boy. College that fail to erect Charlie Boy statue will face a punitive fine of 1% of the intuition of higher education appropriate budget for each month non-compliant, the legislation says. The student or employee who damage or deface the memorial will be subject to termination and fine. It was not clear if school could include information about Charlie Boyd's controversial ideology, which include calling Martin Luther King Jr. awful and describing the Civil Rights Act as a huge mistake. Okay? And so, there you have it, man. So, yeah, these devils pretty much trying to idolize themselves, all right? And that's pretty much the prophecies, man. It's the prophecies of Yahawashi. So this is parallel to modern day Babylon when King Nebuchadnezzar was reigning, okay, in Daniel the 3rd chapter. But let's get this Isaiah, okay, because it's definitely an unrighteous decree, all right? Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. And it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Okay? And so they're pretty much saying, if you don't comply with this, which is ultimately the act that these devils are putting out, they're pretty much practicing their right to bring out which is pretty much the beast system, okay? That's basically what we're seeing. You know, they're putting that squeeze on people to comply with their beast system, which ultimately is that new world order, okay? And so you read the article. That basically any college that refuse to do it, they get fined 1% of their intuition until they comply with the statute, okay? And additional information that they have to come to terms with it by March 1st, 2026, okay? And then all colleges and universities have to have their statute up by March 1st, 2027, okay? So that's, you know, but again, you know, that's another, you know, they're talking future, as Yahawashi said, this place is going to be destroyed, all right? You know, they in their mind, they what's that in the book of Psalms, loosely paraphrasing, they said they house shall continue forever, loosely paraphrasing. That's how these devils think. You know, they think their house is going to continue forever, but Yahawashi said he would throw down, according to Micah chapter 1 and verse 4. Okay, and so yeah, man, it's a wrap, man. So let's get this. Let's go ahead and get Daniel chapter 3. And it'll be about the 4th verse, right? Or the 3rd verse. Alright, yeah, so the point being verse 3. But we'll start at the top. Okay, this is Daniel chapter 3. And verse 1, it said, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set up in a plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. See, and this is the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing with this Charlie Boy statue on every college and university. All right, in verse 2, then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captain, the judges, the treasurer, the counselor, the sheriff, and all rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors and captain, the judge and the treasurer, the counselor, the sheriff, and all the rulers of the province who gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nation, and language, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet flute, harps, sackbut, pottery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. You see that? And so you see the parallel right here. Okay? if the college and university refuses to set up this statue with Charlie Boy, they're going to be fined every month until they comply. But in this case right here, you know, it wasn't no second chances. You know, they threw them into a fiery furnace, okay? And so, you know, this is another example of Esau Edom flaunting their power. You know, matter of fact, when you go and you read, look at that Micah chapter 2. Micah chapter 2 and verse 2 real quick. Let me pull it up here. I'm gonna come back to that Psalm 135. We get that Micah chapter 2 and 2 real quick. Okay, because it says, woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their bed, and when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. You see, so they throwing their power around, putting their squeeze to get the whole world to comply. Okay, which is pretty much going to be the same thing when they set up their mark of the beast. Okay, the example that you're seeing, the example that these devils are setting, is going to be the same example how they're going to issue that RFID man. Okay, and so when you read Nebuchadnezzar, you know, back in the time when Nebuchadnezzar, they're going to pretty much apply this same pressure, okay, and pretty much, hey, you know, people going to die for not worshiping. This is how you know that, you know, because it actually reminds me of a lesson that the elder brother Amawan Gabar and GMS Awakening, his page is GMS Awakening, because he said some people are going to be beheaded for this truth, okay? And that's pretty much what you're seeing right here, because a lot of people are going to die for this truth, right? A lot of the elect men are going to die for this truth, and rightfully so, okay? Another quick example, which you can read, 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter, right? Because it says, and it came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine flesh, and were tormented with scourge and whip. All right, and so this is another example of them flaunting their power and forcing people to accede to their demands. You know, right? And so, you know, that's a very beautiful chapter to read. Definitely go read this chapter, because it goes into, you know, people are going to be killed for this truth, you know. So look at Revelation, real quick, Revelation chapter 3. I mean, chapter 2 and verse 10, okay? Because it said, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, okay? Remember in the article, it says, if anybody deface that statue that they're going to put up with Charlie Boy, they will be fined, and some of them will be in prison, and some of them going to lose their job. Okay, so they're being cast into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. Okay, so we're coming to that time. We're going to have to fight the good fight of faith, man. Okay, we're definitely going to have to fight the good fight of faith. But after these devils, you know, Yahawashi is going to be angry with them, and rightfully so. And this is why we prophesying the downfall of these devils, because they're trying to idolize themselves above Yahawashi, man. Okay, by this example right here, you know, it was an article that was posted 2 days ago, and they put a bill, I think it was Senate Bill 1811, and I forget the other one. There's two Senate bills that they put out that to get to pass in the law. Okay, so that's that, and we get a few more precepts and we'll close this thing out. Let's get Psalm chapter 135. The point would actually be in 13, but I wanted to read up a little bit, okay, because we know that Yahawashi is the only name that can be exalted in this society. You know, Yahawashi name will be exalted. All right, and so let's read Psalm chapter 135 and verse 5. Okay, because it said, for I know that the Lord Yahawashi is great, and that our Lord Yahawashi is above all gods. Whatsoever the Lord Yahawashi pleases, that did he in heaven and in earth and in the seas and all the deep places. Okay, showing you that, you know, when you read through Deuteronomy chapter 32 and 39, where it said, there is no God with me, I kill and I make alive. He's all power, he's all knowing. Okay, nothing is above Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Okay, so he do whatever he please. This is his story. All right, he can do whatever he want, and this is what King David is saying right here in Psalms 135 and 6. Okay, reading on in verse 7. He causes the vapor to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightning for the rain. He bringeth the wind out of his treasury. Who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both of men and beasts? Right? And this is, again, who smote the firstborn of Egypt, both of men and beasts? Okay, that's Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Who sent tokens and wonders into the midst of thee, O Egypt, upon Pharaoh and upon all his servants? Who smote great nation and slew mighty kings? Sihon, king of Amorite, and Og, king of Bashan, and all kingdoms of Canaanite, and gave their land for inheritance and inherited unto Israel his people. Thy name, O Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi, endureth forever, and thy memorial, O Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi, through all generations. For the Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi will judge his people, and he will repent himself concerning his servant. You see? And it says in verse 15, the idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the works of man's hand. They have mouth, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not, neither is there any breath in their mouth. They that make them are like unto them, so is every one that trusteth in them. Blessed is the Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi, O house of Israel. Blessed is the Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi, O house of Aaron. Blessed is the Lord, O Yahawashi Yahawashi, O house of Levi. Ye that fear the Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi, bless the Lord Yahawashi Yahawashi. Blessed be the Lord out of Zion, which the world at Jerusalem. Praise ye the Lord Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. And see, so only Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi is going to be exalted. And that's why when you read that prayer, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven, man. So these devils, they stressing, you know, they trying to push it, they trying to idolize, they trying to exalt themselves. But hey, we're gonna continue pushing this word, and we're gonna continue saying, hey, we got that. Okay, your kingdom is falling, and it's gonna continue to fall. Okay, so we ended off with Wisdom of Solomon. What was it? Wisdom of Solomon 13. The point being 13. Well, we'll read up a little bit. Let's go up a little bit. Let's see. We'll start at verse 7. All right, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14, verse 7. It says, for blessed is the wood whereby righteousness comes, but that which is made with hand is cursed as well it. And as he that made it, he because he made it, and it because being corruptible, it was called God. For the ungodly and his ungodliness are both alike hateful unto Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. For that which is made shall be punished together with him that made it. Therefore, even upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a visitation, because in the creature of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi there are become an abomination and stumbling block to the souls of men, and a snare to the feet of the unwise. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them that the corruption of life. For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by the vainglory of man they enter into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. All right, and so, you know, that's pretty much the point right there, man. These devils, trying to idolize himself, and it's pretty much parallel to the times of before. So ain't nothing new up under the sun. So this is yet another event, another reason why Yahawashi is going to destroy America, aka Babylon the Great. So, that's pretty much the point. Lord willing is edifying. With that, let me give our praise and honor to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone who rule well in teaching us the truth, 100% securely. Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom.